Valheim Ultracore. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Valheim Ultracore. In the last episode, I established a small base, beat Eikthyr, and started getting adjusted to the gameplay settings. Although there was that death to the boars. And I had a torch on me the entire time that could have probably saved me. Anyways, go check out that last video, if you haven't already. In this episode, I'll be heading into the Black Forest, and I have two goals for myself. One, get some Black Forest resources, and start building kilns, smelters, forges, etc. And two, get some better armor. I'll be going for a hybrid set of heavy and light armor in this playthrough, so let's get into it. Now I wanted to be smart about approaching the meadows in the game. My plan for the Black Forest was to build a small hut on the edge of the biome so that I could smelt my ingots here and not have to trek back to my main base every time my inventory was full. But as I was building the said small hut, I once again got greeted by a local. And he must have been a basketball player because he was huge. But I quickly disposed of him, got a good night's rest, and then went on to collect my first resource, Surtling cores. I made a stag breaker and headed into the crypt near my shack to see what I could find. Now I don't know what's up with the floor in this dungeon, but it was extremely bright inside. But, you know, it makes my life easier. And speaking of making my life easier, I'll be cheesing these skeletons until I have a bit more armor to feel safe. You just never know when there's going to be a 1 or a 2 star behind the door. After raiding 3 crypts, I finally had enough cores for a kiln and a smelter, so I got to work gathering some tin and getting things smelting. Until the worst possible thing happened. My first Black Forest raid. Now before we go any further, I want to have a little fun with all of you. Which number do you think is bigger? The times I get raided in this episode, or the times I die in this episode? Pause here, leave your guess down in the comments below, and we'll see if you're right at the end of the video. Now luckily I had a tall rock that was perfectly positioned to wait out the end of the raid, and then just kill off all the little grey dwarves. The little grey dwarves. I will say that even though fire hazards being on has caused some problems, it has also really helped take out some of the enemies due to the fire spread. After that raid, I ventured out until I found some copper. I was getting so close to a piece of bronze armor that I could taste it. Unfortunately, there was yet another crypt nearby. I mean seriously. It's like the 6th one I've seen on this small sliver of Black Forest so far. But anyways, the skeleton guards wanted to come ruin my life. And they were persistent. This 2-star archer chased me all the way back to my shack. And man, what a good shot he was. Man, sometimes the AI is brutally unfair, and sometimes a 2-star skelly just stands there and takes it while shooting the ground. Anyways, I was finally able to get my entire smelting process going, ores were turning into ingots, the kiln was churning out coal, and finally the time had come to make some bronze and unlock a bunch of recipes. Great stuff. So I went over to my forge, cleared an inventory space, made my first bronze ingot. There we have it. Tons of unlocks, and I was finally on the cusp of heading into the Bronze Age of Valheim. Nothing was going to stop me now. Raid. Back in my rock. Of course I am. Alright, you guys just need to all stand up, just all line up and just die. Yeah, hey, stay away from my kiln. Oh gosh. There's a lot of you guys. Stay away from my kiln. I worked hard for that kiln. Yeah, just stand there and burn, buddy. Oh, and the shaman wants some too? Yeah. Now, you guys are all a bunch of idiots, aren't you? You guys think you have a chance of actually killing me? Ooh, hey, watch it with that rock, buddy. Shaman and Bruto done. You guys want some too? Come here, you little losers. A little while later, and I had finally collected enough copper to make enough bronze bars for a piece of bronze armor. And I was finally going to have some better protection against these enemies when, yep, you guessed it, another raid. Now I looked on the recording, and these two raids were literally 14 minutes and 7 seconds apart. That's insane. And in what can only be called karma for mocking the Grey Dwarves in the last raid, I want you to just watch how close I get to making my bronze armor piece before having to flee to save my life. Back to the rock I go. Now I had a bit of a problem here. That last raid had forced me to use all of my arrows, and now I was stuck on a rock with no arrows and a horde of Grey Dwarves that weren't going to leave me alone until I killed them all. Sorry, let me correct that. I was no longer stuck on a rock. I was going to have to try and catch the little guys when the Brute and Shaman weren't close enough to attack, and just kind of pick them off slowly over time. However, that did not quite go to plan. Yeah, I got stunned, and then poisoned, and yeah, I just eventually withered away like a little coward in the crypt near my shack. Yeah. Now, of course, my spawn was set to that shack, which was still surrounded by Grey Dwarves. So yeah, it was a rough like 10 or so minutes until I could finally get away, and I bit it a few more times. And with that, it was time to start over again. However, it did not take long for me to decide that I was skipping the Meadows rebuild. I basically made a few basic tools, got some basic supplies, and just set off to burn Eichthir to death. It took a bit, but I did finally manage to take him down, and made my way back home to grab a new pickaxe. I then moved my kiln and smelter back to the main base because I figured, hey, if I was going to get raided every 20 minutes or so anyways, it would at least be easier to defend the raid at home. And thus I came up with a new plan. I was going to raft over to the Black Forest so that I could raft the supplies back. It was not a good plan. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I always forget just how slow and bad these things really are. I dropped that raft off at the Black Forest, and it's still there. Like, I've almost finished recording the 3rd episode of this playthrough, and it's still there. It's probably going to be there for the rest of this playthrough, but we'll see. Anyways, here's a look at Jagex's new sailing update for old school RuneScape. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's probably never coming out. Now that I was back in the Black Forest, it was time to really get that bronze armor piece. I was a man determined at this point, and nothing was going to stop me. Not skeletons, not trolls, a legion of Grey Dwarves, nothing. So I got back to mining copper and tin. Now since I was nowhere near any player built pieces, raids couldn't spawn in, and theoretically I should be safe, right? Anyways, this sliver of Black Forest was unfortunately not very copper rich. However, I did find enough to get a decent bit of copper ore, and I finally made my way back home to smelt it all up. But alas, the raid gods were not finished with me yet. They still wanted to punish me before I could make that copper armor. Luckily I had a bit of base defense in these walls and spikes at home, and I plan to fully use them to their utmost ability in this raid. Yeah, this is just going to be me repairing them over and over and over and over again until the raid subsides. The torches would keep me safe from everything with the Brute and the Shaman, so I felt pretty secure, but even the thrown rocks could do a decent chunk of damage if enough of them hit me in a short period of time. Finally, the raid ended and it was time to make what had become my holy grail for this episode. Which was about to be put to good use, because I got raided again. Less than 20 minutes since the last one, no joke. Now this is the final raid of the video, luckily. So if anyone who made their guesses in the comments and is keeping track, that puts our totals at 3 deaths and 5 raids for this episode, which is absolutely mental. But don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch any more raids today. No promises on the next video though. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching my frustration with all of these raids, and yeah, the carnage that just kind of ensues in this gameplay. Next episode I'll be doing a major base upgrade and also upgrading my gear. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already, and check out this teaser for episode 3. Bye.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.